Yo, what's going on, guys? It's SparkX Crypto here, and this is my first ever video at Coin Engineers, and I want to take a second to say thanks. I'm glad to be part of the team. Without further ado, today we are going to be talking about the Reserve protocol and their DEX of trade funds, okay? If you're a long-term investor, it makes more sense for you to bid Reserve protocols. So, we all know that stablecoins are huge this cycle, and why is that? Okay, so stablecoins are a fight against inflation. So stablecoins are a fight against inflation, and every time that you swap USDC, like swap your Solana or Ethereum, Bitcoin to USDC, you are buying short-term US treasuries, which in return buy off debt, help with military spending, infrastructure projects, etc. Okay, so a stable coin, whether you know it or not, it is backed 1-to-1 ratio with something. So whether it's a RWA and it's gold, right? So it's backed 1-to-1. Or if it's silver, just the US dollar, Tether, Ondo, or you could even do World Liberty Financial stablecoin. So all of this still ties into the Reserve protocol. Right? So basically what's happening on Reserve is it's an exchange of trade funds, but it's a little wordplay, you know, DTF, everybody knows what that means, but it's a DEX of trade funds. So they're taking the top 20 coins or layer 1s, etc., and they're throwing them into a pool which gives you one token. So right here we've got basically, okay, Coinbase, Wrap, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, but it's all universal, okay? So you're getting the same amount of upside, and there's also different weights, okay? So like this is about how you'd want to have your portfolio if you wanted to have this, and you would have to sit there and manage it on your own, and that's just very time consuming. You're having to check the chart every morning, you know, you're pulling up TradingView, you're typing in Ethereum, you're typing in Bitcoin, USDT, oh my goodness, USDT, right? But you're checking this every single day. Well, Reserve kind of gives you that exposure that you need without, you know, all the time and everything else that you've got to put into it. So it's kind of a little cheat code, right? So Trump has a good relationship with Coinbase, which is Brian Armstrong, all right? Everybody knows Base, biggest layer 2, the biggest crypto app in general. Like, you can probably name somebody that's 50 years old, they might not know what Solana is, but yet they have Coinbase, and they know what Bitcoin is. So their wallet is going to be like kind of attracting that next level retail. Their wallet is going to be tracking that next level retail that's trying to get exposure to, you know, Ethereum, Solana, without taking all the risk. So right here, you've got World Liberty Financial coming into the play, and this is where like the smart money comes on chain, right? So these are those people that they've got a bag to play with, but they don't really want to lose it, okay? You get the people my age, which are young, half of us, we're dumb, we're degenerates, right? They have no idea what crypto is. They have no idea how crypto works. The other half has Coinbase, Moonshot, Phantom Wallet, but they're not really in the Telegram, or they're not really into CT Twitter trying to know what's going on, what projects are launching. They just kind of, they follow a few people, and if they say buy into something, or if they think it's funny, or they see it's trending, they're buying into it. So they're having extreme high risk. They're also getting ate up with gas fees, etc. That's not really the way that you want to be in the crypto world. This is where Reserve protocol and reserve rights, their meeting at the SEC comes into play. So whenever Nevin, this is the one of the founders at Reserve Protocols, but whenever he meets at the SEC, he's got to show that there is real trading volume, you know, coming onto these DEX of trade funds. Okay, so whenever you're seeing a good project pop up on a DTF, say Alpha Base Index, right? So Tibber is weighed 31%, and it's because there's so much research put behind Tibber that I mean, you'll just have to check it out for yourself. You can go and check out Altcoinist Twitter. They'll give you all the research you need. I mean, you've got Virtual Protocol, Keyboard Cat, DRB, Debt Relief Bot, and these are all those higher cap coins, right? So they're kind of giving you more of a return and less risk, and that's kind of what's going to be appealing to these older smart money people, right? Because they know that they're going to have to diversify their portfolio if they want to get that extra level exposure to crypto. All right, so we're getting volume now on the DTFs, right? So these real projects, you know, AI, gaming, RWAs, AI, you've got you know, the smart money from Nvidia, gaming. I'm not personally too bullish on gaming. I know that some people absolutely love GameFi. It's their life, okay? I understand. Me personally, I'm more of an RWA guy, right? So I'm looking for real world assets that are going to be on chain. So I would go here, RWA index. I mean, you see it's down 2% in the last 7 days. It gives you, you know, the best exposure with kind of more limited risk. So these are kind of like low buy-ins. We can go to the top ones. So we'll go to Bloomberg, 4% in 7 days. 4% is a lot to some of these people that aren't necessarily in the crypto world, right? They're not used to hitting like 2, 3x's on a meme coin, you know, in a day, a week, or whatever. This gives them that exposure that they need, right? So $1,500, 4,000, 2,000, 1,000. But this is still adding up the trading volume. You know, this is something to pay attention to during this next bull market, and if you even believe in the 2025 bull run. But these real projects, I mean, they're gonna have to talk to the exchange like whenever they want to get listed, and they're like, hey, I see that, you know, we're already on your DTF. Like, we can implement more liquidity whenever we're being looked at, you know, by serious investors like the exchange, big partnerships. You know, like let's say Collat, right, wanted to work with Ondo, which, okay, let's say Collat wanted to work with Ondo. They would sit here and they would say, well, look, we've got all this liquidity. You know, we have so much pull in this ecosystem. We're going to give you some of that as long as you let us get listed on your exchange. Which makes 100%, you know, sense whenever you are trying to get listed. I don't know why I drew two little arrows here. So typically, like a meme coin, right? Like not a utility token, just a meme coin. Like it's going through all these steps, right? And people are finding out lore, like we said with Tibber. By the time that you really get listed on the exchange, that's kind of how you want to take your profits, you know? So you're not really looking to take profits, you're looking for a long-term investment. You're not really looking to take profits, you're looking for a long-term investment with limited risk, right? And that's why the Bloomberg index is primarily Bitcoin, because we know Bitcoin is like gold compared to Ethereum, Solana, etc. But let's take a look at the reserve rights DEX. We're gonna throw the price on here. That's what I'm saying. It's really nothing. Like, okay, that's on the second. We'll go on the hourly. Go on 4 hour. Okay. Obviously, whenever something gets listed to Coinbase, it's gonna have this big pump, right? And that's what I was talking about. That's how, you know, you kind of know when to sell. You get listed on the exchange and boom. I mean, it's a 180% increase roughly. But see, now we're just kind of staying amongst this level. And that's why the meeting at the SEC is going to be pretty major during this bull market, because it's going to show people like, hey, we can give you limited risk. But what they're also doing at Reserve, they're going to have what's called R tokens, right? We've got the Bloomberg Galaxy. So you're going to be able to have R tokens, and it would be a hedge against inflation. So we've seen this in other countries. Argentina, for example, they're using RPay. It's really working out for them, okay? So it'd be like you using Tap to Pay on your phone, and you're never really losing that buy power, right? So typically, you know, the United States prints money, or we owe somebody money and we've got to pay it off, etc. And your dollar kind of loses purchase value. Literally, like, if you don't spend it as you get paid, your dollar is losing value. So that's kind of where the R tokens come into play. I think that that's going to be something that they're going to talk about at the SEC meeting. I really do think that Reserve Protocol is something to be keeping your eye out for in this next bull market. Of course, always do your own research first. But that's the end of the video, sadly. I would highly recommend going to check them out. Going to check out and see what they stand for, long-term goals, the team, and you can all do that at Nevin's page. Thank you guys for my first video at Coin Engineers, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.